Hey folks, Libby here once again. Welcome back to another movie review, another superhero marathon review. Hi, my name is Levi McNally. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I see that I got 2 subscribers last night, 424 subs now. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Hope you keep on subbing and sharing my channel with people. I appreciate it with your friends, family, relatives, buddies, whatever, friends. I really do appreciate the support. I'm going to miss doing videos during the week because I wish I had to go back to work this week, but since I have today and tomorrow, I know I'm sorry. It's just part I can't control this. I'm late, but it's when my Avengers shirt for a change. To continue with the 90s, I hope I enjoyed my review of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., the made-for-TV Marvel movie starring David Hasselhoff as the main character, Nick Fury. That is on my channel right now. But yeah, you put that on my Marvel reviews too. Well, it makes sense because Nick Fury is a Marvel character. But anyway, we're still in the year 1998. Got 2 more movies left, and then 2 movies of 1999. Hopefully, I can finish the 98 movies. Let's do one 99 movie today. 1999 movie today. Yeah. But 1998, we're in the year 19. I've been doing the 90s era of superhero reviews, superhero marathon on my channel. I've been doing the 90s era of superhero movies from 1990 to 1999, and we're very close to being done. Well, hopefully after this, 3 movies left. But this film is a swashbuckler film, but since the character to me is a hero, he's probably the first action hero on screen. His character's been around, I think, since the 1920s, I think. But it stars Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Stuart Wilson, and that is The Mask of Zorro. I do have the sequel, Legend of Zorro, but that will be a 2000s era review. But we're going to focus on talking about the first movie. Review for the first one. Which, I love this movie. Yeah, I do think it's a bit long, but it's really a good movie. It's got a really good story, a really good cast. It's enjoyable all the way through. I don't care how long it is. It's 137 minutes, but it's a really awesome movie. I love Zorro. Antonio Banderas was just born to play the character. He was fantastic. It's a great movie. I loved it. I've always enjoyed Mask of Zorro. Kind of a bit more in the sequel, but I didn't know they made a video. Well, hold on. Let's talk about how the film got made. Talk about Zorro himself. Zorro was a fictional character created by 1990 by American pulp Jonathan Milicki. Is his name? Yeah, that's the man who created. I guess the one with the glasses. Apparently, at work citizen of Los Angeles in California, he's typically portrayed as a dashing mass vigilante that defends the commoners and people of California against corrupt and tyrannical officials and other villains. His signature is a black costume, includes a cape, and of course a hat that he's known for. Zorro has his hat. That's what, and a sword, and a mask covering the upper half of his face, and of course putting Z as his mark. That's just the character of Zorro. Zorro David Lynn Johnson's was Willie's novel, The Curse of Captain of Silas, in 5 parts between August 9th and September 6, 1919. The story was intentionally meant as a standalone tale. Zorro's true identity is revealed to all. McCoy wrote more than 60 more Zorro stories, beginning in 1922 with the Further Adventures of Zorro. However, they of course made movies about Zorro. There's been plenty of movies I think made about him. The Mark of Zorro, which was in 1940. Never seen any of these Zorro movies. Then they had the 1920 played by Douglas Fairbanks, played in The Mark of Zorro. This was back in 1920. So this character has been around for a very long time. Zorro was one of the first, action characters, His entry, of course, his mask. Walt Disney had a show from 1957 1959 with Guy Williams playing him. It's from Walt Disney. They also had an animated show, but Zorro, been around for a very long time, like I said. But how this movie came to be is the development. In October 1992, TriStar Pictures and Steven Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment were planning to start production on the Zorro film the following year and hired Joe Gross to rewrite the script after they were impressed with his adaptation of Three Musketeers. At the time, Spielberg was producing Zorro with the potential to direct. Gross competed with the potential to direct. Gross completed his rewrite in March 1993, and TriStar entered pre-production, creating early promotion for the film that same month at the Show West trade show. By December 1993, Franco Listing was producing the film with Spielberg, and Mike Sullivan was attached as director. In August 1994, Sean Connery was cast as Don Diego Zorro. Stallone said that the rest of the major cast would be Hispanic or Latino. The first chosen for the role of Zorro in his young version was Andy Garcia, a fashionable Latin actor at the time. Colombian singer Sharika was also initially considered to play Elena, but it turned out due to her limited acting experience and poor English skills at the time. Pre-production proceeded even further notice. The Stallone complained to test footage for planned April 1995 date. Connery Stallone eventually dropped out. September 1995, Robert Rodriguez, fresh off the success of Desperado, which he directed with Antonio Banderas, I think Antonio Banderas starred in that movie, who had also starred in the film, playing this article. Trustor and Abram had been inspired by Rodriguez's low-budget film techniques for his action films, and shifted away from their integral plans to make a big-budget version of the role. Spielberg had hoped Rodriguez would start filming in January 1966 for a Christmas release date, but the start date was pushed back to July. The release date was later moved to Easter 1997. Rodriguez pulled out of the film in June 1996 over difficulties coming to terms with TriStar on the budget. The studio projected a range of $35 million, while Rodriguez wanted $45 million. They both attempted to compromise when Rodriguez lowered to $42 million, but the studio refused and set $41 million as their highest mark. Banderas remained with the production, and Martin Campbell signed on later that month, turning down the chance to direct Martin Dies. They wanted Martin Campbell as a director because after, because James Bond, he directed GoldenEye, and because the James Bond franchise was kind of on hiatus for like 6 years, and that movie GoldenEye, starring Pierce Brosnan, 17th Bond movie, I think it is. Anyway, yeah, 17th Bond movie, I think that. Yeah, 17th Bond movie, okay. That was a huge success. So the studio wanted to hire him right away, just to make the movie. They finished screenplay, though, written by Joan Esco, Ted Elliott, and Terry Russell, based on a story by Elliott Russo and Earl Johnson. The filming began in Mexico on January 27, 1997, on a $6 million budget, over $102 million. In 2022, it would be budget. The Basket Zorro was shot in Mexico City. Production is still for 4 days in February, where the director Martin Campbell was hospitalized for bronchitis. I guess something happened. Yeah. He loved doing the movie because of the story. That's what attracted him to the attention. They had to. The cast, like Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, Kevin J. Jones, they all had to practice sword fighting and riding horses. They had to train the horses. Martin Campbell said he had a hard time working on one of the horses in one of the scenes of the movie. Sony wanted David Foster to join the project as a producer to help fill the void left by Steven Spielberg. They had about 60 sets, about 60 of them that they built of sets for the movie. The production cost the Messer to go $2 million over its budget. In December, the producers were frustrated by customs agents when some props and other items claimed over plastic sword were held for 90 days. Russo and Elliott originally planned to have Don Raphael being used by Howard on a shore on a boat, while sitting on a horse standing on the boat, but the scene was cut for being deemed too expensive. During the post-production phase, Spielberg and Campbell decided that Diego's death in the arms of his daughter was too depressing. Filming where Alejandro and Nelly were happily married with infants on, but added 3 months after filming had ended. There was an original ending, but they changed it because they changed the ending of the film. Originally, Zorro unmasked and Antonio Banderas was going to tell his captain or these guards, I guess he would have been known as Zorro, so that he tells anyone to be Zorro, and then him and Lena kiss. But they changed the ending of the movie. There was a lawsuit that happened. I don't know why, with the Zorro character, I guess. Don't want to read too much of that. But Darren Bitt's got the role. I guess he was impressed with it. Catherine Zeta-Jones, she, was able to go to the Batlock in the Universal Studios. She went to one of the studios and called for Steven Spielberg. Anthony Hopkins did not want to do this movie at first because of the time he was filming The Edge. I think he got hurt or whatever, his back was hurting. But They took a hiatus to that, so he took the role eventually. The Mask of Zorro, the soundtrack is done by James Horner. You have a song in here, that's by Tina Arena and Mark Anthony called I Want to Spend My Lifetime Loving You. It does have some historical moments. Like Antonio Bander's character, Alejandro, his brother Jonah Joaquin, a Mexican outlaw, was killed by California Rangers led by Harry Lowe. Portrayed in the film by Texas Army captain named Harrison Love in 1853. And the movie does take place around 1800. Yeah. And I didn't know this, but the video, I guess, was a marketing. Sorry, but I never knew it had a video game. But in a lot of the plot of the film Zorro, the player controls Zorro and his protege Alejandro. The game is a successful platformer spanning 30 levels, including churches, mansions, and mines. Gameplay consists of combat involving thrusting, slashing, and parrying with a sword, navigating platforms. Just from the graphics, although the game hasn't really aged well, but of course it would get a video game because it was a time where movies got video games sometimes. Just, piece of the pie, make that extra money, I guess. The film was released on Blu-ray on December 1st, 2009. It was first released on VHS and DVD on December 1st, 1998. Yeah. I think it was a different time in the 90s when films were released. This one was released in July, but it didn't come out to VHS and DVD till December 1st. So sometimes you'd have to wait a good couple of months. But we still do for movies. There's a comic book imagine of the movie. Roger Ebert called it the best Zorro movie ever made. So I guess the critics liked it. The movie was nominated for some awards, but I guess it didn't win anything. Which doesn't matter, I don't really care about academies anywhere. Anyway, for the cast, you have Antonio Banderas as Alejandro Zorro, the new Zorro. And he's been in many movies, like he was in Assassins with Sylvester Stallone, Philadelphia, the Spy Kids series, and of course, he voiced Puss in Boots, who his character is like a spoof of Zorro himself. The 13th Warriors, the Spy Kids franchise, Shrek 2 and Shrek 3, and of course Expendables 3, but he was terrible in that. He was in the new Indiana Jones movie and Dolittle, which I care less to see those movies. I think I remember him in the SpongeBob Out of Water. Never seen that movie though. And then you have John Marie DeBetto portrays a young kid. Anthony Hopkins plays Diego, the older Zorro. Like the first Zorro. But Anthony Hopkins, he would also go play another superhero franchise. He would be in the MCU in the Thor franchise as Odin, Thor's father. And I think he was also Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs. Yep. And he was in Nixon. Really good actor. The Elephant Man, The Lion and Winter. So here's a long movie. And of course, The Edge with Alec Baldwin. I love that movie. Really good movie, in my opinion. Catherine Zeta-Jones as Elena. She's been in a few movies herself. She was in also the sequel to Legend of Zorro. She was in Red 2. Ocean's 12, she was in that. And it put The Haunting, Traffic, Chicago, No Reservations, and of course she's in the Netflix TV series directed by Tim Burton, that is Wednesday, playing Morticia Adams. Stuart Wilson as Don, as Rafael Ventura. He was in films like Lethal Weapon 3, The Mask of Zorro, Enemy of the State, He was in The Rock as a general, but oh yeah, he was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, but this is a lot better than that movie. And Matt LaShue as Captain Harrison Love. He was in Gettysburg, kind of like another historical movie, well, different kind of movie. Identity. I've seen that movie. I think I might remember him in that. Yeah. Tony Epplin as Don. Pedro Armas Jr. as Don Pedro. Leigh J. Jones as Three Finger Jack. He was in Lightning Jack. He was in The Edge too. Oh, I remember him in The Edge. Yeah, he is in the movie. He plays how Leandro and his brothers, like he's like their friend. He helps them, steal gold and stuff, steal places. Steal stuff. He was in The Patriot with Steven Seagal, and he was in The Edge which also starred Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. Juliet Rosen as Espiano, Dana Diego's wife. Mary Chokin as Prison Warden. He was in My Cousin Vinny. I remember him in that. Yeah. War Games. When My Cousin Vinny, he's in the scene where Vinny, Joe Pesci's question about about the grits. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen that movie. That's the cast. And the film is directed by Martin Campbell. Like I said, he's known for directing Gold. Now, he would also go and direct another James Bond movie good many years later, and that was Casino Royale. Edge of Darkness, The Foreigner, starring Jackie Chan. Invertible Limit, also produced in the movie, that starred Chris O'Donnell. Screenplays by John Misko, Ted Elliott, Terry Rosa. He worked on the Disney film Aladdin, co-wrote it. And Godzilla 98 and Small Soldiers. And The Road to El Dorado, Shrek, Treasure Planet. And of course he really worked on the sequel Legend of Zorro. Ted Elliott also, worked on some film movies like Aladdin, Shrek, the first Shrek, and Pirates of the Caribbean series. So I guess these three, John Isco, I guess they all work together on the same movies. Well, except John Isco, he wrote a movie called Air America, produced that movie. That stars Mel Gibson, Robert Downey Jr. I really wanted to see that movie, but anyway. Pink Cadillac with Clint Eastwood. He produced that. He did the script for that movie. That was with Clint Eastwood. The story is by Ted Elliott, Terry Rossio, and Reno Jansen. Produced by. It's created by, in this based on Zorro, created by Johnson McCauley. Produced by Doug Claiborne and David Foster. He also produced The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, starring Kurt Russell. Cinematography by Phil Mix. He also did cinematography of Legend of Zorro and Casino Royale. In GoldenEye, he worked on that with the In Edge of Darkness, other Martin Campbell movies. And this is edited by Tom Noble. He also, oh gosh, I think he edited Inspector Gadget, with Matthew Broderick. In Vertical Limit, in Rain of Fire, Flight Plan with Jodie Foster. The music is by the late James Horner. Well, I like James Horner. I think his music was good. He did the musical films like Aliens, Field of Dreams, Braveheart, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. He did the musical for another superhero movie, The Rocketeer, and of course, The Amazing Spider-Man 2012. I do like that score, suit me. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Jumanji, he did the film score for that. He's done a lot of really good film scores. He's definitely one of my favorite films. I know people say James Horner had those issues of posing himself. He does that, copy himself a little bit. But I've always enjoyed his film scores, but that's just me. He was always, rest in peace, James Horner. He was always one of my favorite film composers. Production companies were TriStar Pictures and Steven Spielberg's Evelyn Entertainment Company, Zorro Productions. And it's distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. It was released July 17th, 1998. It's 137 minutes long. The budget to make the movie with $95 million at the box office to make $250.3 million worldwide. Sorry. And because of the success of it, it did get a sequel. Once again, starring Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones, respiring their roles from the first movie. That'd been awesome to see Sean Connery as Zorro. Can you imagine that? Yeah. Anyway, and the film's about 2 hours and 17 minutes long, so it's a bit of a long stretch of a movie. But if you can keep up with the story, it is really good. But anyway, the plot, the story of The Mask of Zorro is that Zorro, his name is Diego, but played by Anthony Hopkins. Don Diego de la Vega, played by Anthony Hopkins, who was the first Zorro. He gets in prison for 20 years because his enemy, Stuart Wilson, Raphael Montego, kills his wife and takes his daughter, who grows to be Catherine Jones, Elena. And he receives word that his old enemy, Don Raphael, has returned. Don Diego escapes and returns to his old headquarters. When he trains a new successor, that is Andre Matri, I can't say that, Antonio Banderas, to become his successor, to become the new son, to become the new Zorro. Meanwhile, Montero, who similarly raised Diego's daughter as his own, hatches a plot to rob California of its gold and kill these women and children and men that are his slaves. And they have to find out what he's up to, and he's training, Anthony Hopkins is training him to become the new Zorro. So they had to find out what he's up to, and Antonio Banderas has become the new Zorro. But also, Zorro has for both of them, it's a revenge story too, because Antonio Banderas, Alejandro, his brother, gets murdered by the Captain Harrison Love, by this captain, and he wants to get revenge, and Anthony Hopkins wants to get revenge on Stuart Wilson for killing his wife and taking his daughter away from him. So so they're both out for revenge, and of course to save the people and to stop Captain Love and Raphael for good, and defeat them, take them down, and get their revenge. Their justice, basically, if you want to say it. That's what the movie is, and bring Zorro to a new light, and anybody could be Zorro, and that the people, that he'll fight for the people. Yeah, it's a plot for you. We need to talk about this movie, okay? 20 minutes, I'm sorry. Alright, so The Mask of Zorro. Alright, here we go. The film starts out with, you have Zorro walking to the screen with his sword, Z. And Diego is Anthony Hopkins, he's a Spanish nobleman. He fights against Spain in the Mexican War of Independence as Zorro. He's a mysterious avenger defending the Mexican presence. He's got the hat, he's got a whip, and he's got a sword. Nobody knows who he is, but his enemy is Don Raphael Montego, who is the cool governor of California. But he's about to kill these 3 men, about to shoot them down. People are watching him do this. He's like, he rules with a tyrant, force, and he's about to kill these. And you have Alejandro, Antonio Banderas' character, and he plays a younger version of him. They cut like a rope inside. They see what's going on. They're trying to run away. They run to Zorro. Zorro's Anthony Hopkins, and he's like, shh. and he goes to run. And, before he can give the order, he's about to give the order for them to fire at these three innocent men. Zorro gets his whip, grabs their gun, gets all the guns, and gets them to shoot the guard down. And Zorro's fighting them, and pretty good fight. This sword has really, the choreography, the fight scenes are well choreographed in my opinion, but the sword fights, it's very awesome to see. He's sword fighting them, and he's about to get killed. These men are about to shoot him down, but Alejandro and his brother, they save Zorro's life, and Zorro climbs up to the mountain. Up the stairs of the wall, because he can do acrobatic stuff. And he gets to what's his name again? Gets to Raphael, Mateo, and gives him a cut on his neck. This is Zorro on like this. Trying to kill 3 men, you kill 3 men just to get my attention? Just to arrest me? He's like, I would kill thousands of men just to get to you. He's like, for 3 men, 3 cuts, so he cuts him there, goes away. Then later, Zorro thanks the boys, thanks Alejandro and his brother, gives Alejandro's brother, this bracelet, this necklace, thanking them, and he goes back home. He's like, oh boy, dear horse, don't be tired. He goes back to his lair. So he decides that this is his last ride as Zorro, his last time to put up the mask. Eventually, you see him talking to Elena as his daughter, as a baby, telling her the story, and then tells his wife the story, which is funny, it's cute as well. But they share a kiss. I'm gonna quit being Zorro. We're gonna be together. But Raphael ends up finding out his identity. He's coming to arrest him in his home. And Esperona, his wife, Elena's mother, they're sword fighting a little bit. He's sword fighting with the men. They're not gonna shoot him down, of course, because he's the governor. But him and Raphael fight. Eventually, Esperona gets involved, and one of the men accidentally shoot her and kill her. And then, Raphael and his anger stabs her. It's like, I didn't want her to get hurt. And then Anthony Hopkins was upset with him and says, she wasn't yours to protect. She was my wife. She was my wife. She wasn't yours to protect. But they arrest him. They burn down his house. And he takes Elena as revenge. Doesn't kill him. Sends him to prison. And he's like, Raphael, let me hold my daughter for one last time. Just let me hold her. Say goodbye. He doesn't let him. He's like, sweet girl. And then he burns his house down. And he basically, that night, Diego gets everything taken away from him. And then we get to 20 years later, where we see Alejandro, Antonio Banderas, now Antonio Banderas with the beard, so his brother, they got the guy, Dave Jones, one of his friends, he's pretending he's got them captured for the money and gold. He's like, don't touch my brother, I'll kill you. And they tie him up, and he's like, it's foolish what you're doing, how did I know you didn't have a gun or something like that? Because you're stupid. And they knock him out, steal from them. But, But Alejandro and his brother, they run into Captain Harris' love. Captain Harrison shoots his friend down, his brother runs, his brother gets shot, and he tells him to go, he punches Antonio Banderas, go now, for your safety. And he hides like in the woods, like in the bushes, and his brother, he's like, well, he's gonna kill him, but his brother just shoots himself. But Captain Harrison's not done with him. Captain Harrison, you don't see it, but with his sword, he cuts his head off in his hand. He takes them as trophies, if you will. You find out later that Captain Harris is a psychopath. He likes to keep, after killing his victims, he likes to keep their body parts in jars. Yeah, that's how sick he is. Anyway, after doing that, Diego goes to that necklace, the one that Zorro, when he's crying. But then meanwhile you see Diego, who's in prison, and many years later, of course, they've gotten older. Raphael's trying to see who it is. He's like holding, towel because these men stink. He's like, this must be Zorro. He never catches him. So all the prisoners start saying, where's Zorro? Zorro? They go crazy. He's like, Zorro's dead. So, Hopkins, Diego decides to escape, knocks out one of the guards, gets into a body bag of a man that killed, a man that died earlier. They bury him, he gets out of the grave to safety. Raphael gets back to Spain. You see Captain Zeta-Jones, and people are saying, "This is my daughter," and he's telling them, that he's planning to, California. He wants a statue put out of him. He wants to build a state and be famous for doing it. But that includes making people slaves, and the people don't like him pretty much because they know that they're his slaves. And, they say, Zorro fought for the people. Zorro was a good man. He's right here, and they clap, and he's like, oh. But it's a new world. See, I come to you today as a mask, and it would convince some of them to trust him. Zorro, there was no Zorro yet, even though they mentioned him. But then later on you see Alejandro and Antonio Banderas. Banderas is drinking, he's like, give me another, I don't have money, and he's only give him his bracelet. He's like, and when he sees that bracelet, where'd you get it from? It's from my dead brother. And he sees Captain Harris, he wants to, I'm gonna go kill him. He's like, he's a soldier trained to kill, you're just trained to be drunk. He's like, and he's like, let me come, he grabs me, he's like, get on board, man, well, make me. He fights him, and he just hits the sword with him and can't do it. And, Diego knocks Andrade down easily. And then he's like, that necklace, is for me. He's like, tell you what, I'm going to train you. I was like, why? Because you saved my life, when you were a little boy. And, of course, that was him and his brother. His little boy's like, at least I can do you the favor of that and getting justice, some proper vengeance for your brother. He's like, okay. He's like, well, Zorro takes him to his cave. He's like, never did I know that, Zorro was being in his lair. It's awesome. And he likes being there, and he's like, why don't you're back from the dead? Why don't you go take care of Raphael now? Tells him that he has he was fighting him, but his daughter was taken away, but he says his personal reasons why. Of why he wasn't Zorro anymore. But he trains him. He's like, you know how to use that thing? Of course, yes, you point, click, and hit the stab him. They're like, this is going to take a lot of work. Then he sword fights him. I like it when Antonio Banderas can be funny too. When he's got the sword, he's like, points the sword, and it happens just hits the sword out of his hand. He's like, first slowly. They do it slowly. And then he gets angry, and he's like, never attack in anger. Never do that. And he makes him go around the rope, just switch around the rope. They do like gymnastics almost, because that's what Zorro does. You gotta be very athletic and moving a lot, Because again, he's fighting against criminals, men with swords who want to kill him. So he prepares to fight him. To train him to fight. Yeah. But the training goes, but the training goes really well. Sorry. The training goes really well. He's better. He's able to take the sword. He's like, show it again. And he gets better and better. There is some deleted scenes in here of him like saving these people and then stealing from them. I guess Martin Campbell cut that out because they just wanted to show that maybe Alejandro was not going to be a thief anymore. That would change. But Alejandro was able to see this horse go crazy. And he's like, this horse, feels like this garment, which he'll use as a mask. He said, I'll be seeing you later, horse, And he goes to steal this black stallion named Tornado. Yeah, at first, he's not really even wearing the costume yet, not yet. But he's just wearing a, mask over it. Like a white shirt, white grayish shirt or whatever, something like that. And he sees Captain Zeta-Jones. She's like, it's like this. Be careful, senorita, for their dangerous benefit. Beware of me, let me know them. And she always had him in a very flirtatious way. And he goes to sneak around, tries to get into the horse. He's like, I would love you to be the honor of being my horse. He tries to get on the horse, and the horse he's like, yeah, goes crazy. And he fights these men, the horse terrorizes him, and they look at how young, the horse. And they look at him angrily, and he's like, get on, and he fights with them. This sword fighting is very entertaining and fun to watch. And eventually he fights this big guy. He's like, got him. He's like, now good, kill him. The big man tries to kill him, but he's got like these two balls that are like balls kind of, and boom, boom, knocks the guy's teeth out, knocks him out, and he runs out. He's like, and all the can is like this, the Zorro, the legend of Zorro returns, and he's able to get away and steals the horse and puts the mark of Zorro down. And goes away. Fun scene to watch. And he's like, I'm the new Zorro now. And he's like, you think you steal the horse, make a mark, and do it for the fame, makes you Zorro? No. Zorro fights for the people, fights for justice. No, it doesn't claim fame or fortune. I like to see when he's got the whip and he's hitting it with the candles perfectly. And he's a message like, I'm tired of your lecture. I'm ready. He's like, Alejandro. But they did mention earlier that Raphael, Stuart Wilson, is up to something. He's got something planned, and it's a map, and they got to get their hands on the map and find out what he's up to. So he teaches him to be a gentleman, and he's got them wearing the suits, kind of like a fake mustache, and stand up straight, be a gentleman. He's like, remember, charming, walks at him charming. I forgot to mention though that he's in when he's wearing the mask of Zorro. Well, just kind of testing himself as Zorro first. When he's wearing this mask, he talks to Kelsey Jones in the confession, and she's like, I've committed 3 sins. Like, you committed 3 days? How did you do that? He's like, I made lust for a man. It's like, my father isn't approval. Maybe your father is just right. He's like, what? That was funny. It was just funny as a dialogue. And the captain tries to shoot him, but misses him as he gets away. Anyway, back to the scene with the party again. Yeah, he uses magic, gets a flower to Elena. He's able to charm her, and uses charm on for Raphael to trust him, to bring him into his circle of trust. As even he talks bad about Zorro, just put on the act. Can't let him know that he is going to be the new Zorro. He has to put on an act. I know, like when he says to Captain Harrison Love is like this. Oh, next time he gets Zorro, we won't be in a confession booth. And they laugh because he failed to capture him, and that's why they're laughing. And Captain Harrison didn't smile about it, but it doesn't really find that funny. But he dances with Elena. Terrible dancer. From what I heard, Taylor is a good dancer. Him and Captain Theta Jones, they have a dance scene here. It's a good dance scene. And her father scolds her for, he wants her to act like a proper lady. He doesn't want to be her. He doesn't want her to be spirited or adventurous. He just wants her to be a lady, proper lady. But eventually Raphael trusts him enough to let Alejandro in. And his plan is to retake California for the dollar by buying it from General Santa Anna, who needs money to fund his upcoming war in the United States. And he wants to get famous for building a country statue after him. Alejandro and the Dons, of course, don't uncover. They go to El Bar where their criminals they're used for slave labor, and Antonio Barris, Alejandro is just sick seeing this, that they're using women and even children to, build it, and that he has gold. But their plan is to buy California from Santa Anna, using gold mine from Santa Anna's own land. Yeah, and he even has a talk with Anthony Hopkins. Before that, you have a scene where Elena is talking to Anthony Hopkins, who she doesn't know who's her father, but she She likes his voice. She's like, oh, I worked with him for quite some time. I do like to see, I forgot to mention, Anthony Hopkins is able to find where the plan is at. The ship, not the ship, but where he's planning, where the map is at. I like it when he's like, oh, coughing. He just got some water, it's really water things. Punches him in the face. But he's able to get the map. And as Hopkins is talking to Elena, Catherine Zeta Jones, she's like, sure, that my mother died in childbirth. And I'm like, really? But he can't let her know that he's her father yet. He's like, have a good day, Elena. I was like, I'm sure we maybe know each other in another life. No. And of course, Diego gives him permission to eventually become the Zorro. And after that, though, Anthony Hopkins, Alejandro talks with the captain, and the captain shows him the jar of his brother's head in his hand. He's like, you're a sick man, Captain. He's like, okay, have a drink. Talks with him. After this talk, though, he's angry that he tells Diego, I have all this anger in my heart, and so much hatred for this guy that I want revenge. He's like, revenge will come. Well, how do I hide the pain? He's like, then he gives him the mask of Zorro, saying, this is how you hide your pain. This is how you do it. This is how you hide it. So eventually that night, Captain Love and his guards and Rafael Montero talk about their plans. Eventually, Zorro was able to sneak in. This is the first time you see him in the movie, finally, with his black suit and his hat and sword. Finally in the suit, he's able to use his sword to steal the map. Zorro ends up walking behind him, and he's looking at trying to find the map in this paper. This folder, it's not there. He turns around. Zorro was like, hold on, Captain. Call your guards. Tell them to drop their guns. He's like, tell them to come here. Tell them to get down, bend down like this. He's like, excuse me, Captain. And he kicks them. And he has a sword fight with the captain. And the sword fight goes on. He's able to jump out the window. He has sword fights with more of the guards. And like when he's jumping, on the trees and stuff, on the tree limbs. He's jumping. He jumps up, kicks one guy, hits one guy. Has a sword fight with him. They try to all group up and kill one of them. He has a bit of a personal sword fight with Raphael. Excuse me. When he hits the sword, with the rope, and it lands on him, and he laughs, smiles, and gets away. And eventually he goes to try to get on his horse, but he falls off his horse, so he has to get a new horse. So he goes to the guards that are following him, sneaks up on them, knocks one guard out, sits up the back of the horse, punches one guy, and he's standing up on a horse, like riding it, two horses, with his by standing up, and there's a tree limb, he jumps up the tree limb, and the guy gets impaled by his waist. And also he fights with Elena, I forgot to mention that, to retrieve the sword. He's flirting with her. She's like, oh, I've been training for years. This is I was 4. And there's like a flirtation, a chemistry between the two. As Alejandro just puts his hat up. And she's like, I want you to get my wavy storm for like, no. And gives her a kiss. And teases her. Eventually he's able to get a hold of her. Cut her, shirt off, her clothes off. You don't see her naked or anything. It didn't show her breast or anything. But she covers Zorro's hat. Zorro gives her a kiss, and he's like, goodbye, señorita. Leaves. Eventually, though, after this happens, Raphael decides to destroy the mine along with all his workers, and his Captain Love tells him, kill everyone. No witnesses, kill them all. But after, having that fight, Anthony Hopkins says, I'm going to go get my daughter Elena. That's right. And he does remember that he likes Elena. He knows, but he decides to go save Elena, to go get her. Elena also talks to this lady, her old nanny she finds in a market, giving her this cloth or whatever. I forget what it was. but she's speaking Spanish, but this lady's translating for her, saying that she used to watch her when she was a baby with these flowers. But of course, Elena doesn't believe it. Yeah, she still believes that Stuart Wilson is her father. But since he tries to stroke of mine, eventually Dave goes to confront him because he tells the captain, "You're an idiot. My horse can run something better than you." He's like, "I will find him." I said, "I will find Zorro. I'll capture him and I'll kill him." Well, but eventually when he comes over, Captain gets Captain Zeta-Jones, and she asks him to nicely put the sword down. They capture him, but Elena goes saves her father, realizing that the truth that Evan Hopkins is her father. And they go to the mine, which again they're going to destroy. Zorro, because he tells them, the people have a new Zorro now, and that's you. Gives him his mask. And he goes to the mine. Zorro sneaks around and is able to fight some of the men off in a funny moments too. And I like it though when he's up on this lead, or this wall, whatever, this line that has water coming across it. He puts these water on his men. He's about to get shot. Zorro's about to get shot by Stuart Wilson, but eventually he fails because the old Zorro, Diego stops him. They have a sword fight, and Turner Bear smiles to see his friend there. You have to keep doing that. One day won't have to. But anyway, he fights with Zorro. The captain puts his gun away, his pistol away, and him and Zorro start fighting. Zorro gives him a good punch. He's like, "Your brother would have shot himself by now." He's like, he's personal. And, even when Stuart Wilson and Anthony Hopkins are fighting, he grabs Captain Zeta-Jones. He's like, "You think I would really kill my own daughter?" And he tells Elena to go free the people. As they start the match, she has to shoot the locks off, and Zorro has a final fight with him after mentioning his brother. Zorro eventually, stabs Captain Harris in the stomach. Takes off his mask to show him who he really is. That he was the man the whole time at the party, setting him up. And eventually, Stuart Wilson comes close to dying. Coleman comes close to killing Anthony Hopkins. Diego comes close to getting killed by Raphael, and Raphael's legs tied up on the knot of the rope where the wagon is for the gold, and he cuts the rope and he falls on when he falls down to his death, and the gold hits Captain Harris, and they both die. And they get the people out of there, and Turner Bear shows him reveals his face to Captain Zeta-Jones, and they get the people out of there all to safety, and the mine explodes. Practical explosion for 1998. But then they go to Anthony Hopkins, who was dying. He was injured so bad. He's getting old. He was injured so bad. He's like, "Elena, you two are going to be together." And he gives his blessing for him and Elena, to be married, to be together, because he knows they want to be. And he dies, and she's like, "Father," just crying and hugging on him. And then they rebuild the day to go home, and they have a son named Joaquin, honoring Alejandro's brother. And Andreas Perez is telling his little boy, his young son, his baby son, the story. He's like, "This is how he put the baby to sleep," and they both share a good kiss. And again, they see a chemistry. And you see at the end him walking, the door closes, give music. And then the movie ends there with Zorro coming to the screen and Z, and this end of the movie. As he'll continue, of course, being Zorro, fighting for people, fighting for justice, fighting for the people. Yeah. And that's the end of the movie. And then you hear that song, "I want to spend my lifetime loving you," and that's the Mask of Zorro. That's the end of the film. Anyway, hold on before I get my final opinion on this movie. Alright, anyway. Well, maybe I can read some quotes really quick. Alright, yeah, I would like to. Elena, I have broken the fourth commandment. Padre, you killed somebody? No, that's not the fourth commandment. Of course not, tell me. And what way did you break this most scared of commandments? I disarmed my father. That's not so bad. Maybe your father did, or what? I said, tell me more, my child. There's a saying, a very old saying, when the Pope is ready, the Master will appear. Forgive me, Father, I have sinned. It has been 3 days since my last confession. 3 days? How many sins could you have committed in 3 days? How about when you have more time, please? That was funny. Do you know how to use that thing? Yeah, the pointing and the end goes into the other man. This is going to take a lot of work. Look at me. I roll like a butterfly. This is the most stupid thing I've ever done. I doubt that. Do you surrender? No, never. But I may scream. I understand sometimes I have that effect. Yes, you were looking for something, a sense of marvelous in everyday life. Really? Well, why don't you try looking somewhere else? The lady and I are trying to dance. You were trying. She was succeeding. Forgive me, Captain Lovett, a shameless joke at your expense. And I hope it won't be the last. Alejandro. And so it was lightning split the sky, thunder shook the earth, and all the great warrior owns of Zorro was gone. The people of the land gave him a heroic funeral. As the largest anyone had ever seen, they came from far and wide to say, "Forever their brave and noble champion." But don't worry, little Joaquin, whenever great deeds are remembered, your grandfather will live on. For there must always be a Zorro. And someday, when he's needed, we will see him again. On his fearsome teeth, tornado, riding like the wind. His sword blazing in the sun, leaping, jumping, swinging to the air, fighting like a lion. As safely as possible. Is that your idea of putting the baby to sleep? Okay. Well, that's the last bit of dialogue I want to read from the movie. Quotes. But anyway, summing up my opinion on this movie. I love The Mask of Zorro. This is definitely one of my favorite movies ever made. Always one of the best films ever made. Do I have any problems with it? I'll get to that maybe, but if I do want to get to what I like about the movie. Positives, negatives. Positives, a lot of positives. Barely no negatives, but positives. I love this movie. I love the story. Zorro is a cool character. I like his sword. I like his hat. I like his costume. The mask is really cool. I think he's a character that fights with a sword and puts a Z on it. And that he uses a whip, and that he can use his charm of wits and sense of humor. And Antonio Banderas is perfect for that. Does a great job. But when he's trying to be serious, he can't be serious. They had a little more humor, I think, with the sequel, which I don't think you really needed the sequel, but that's just my opinion. But it happens because this film made on a $95 million budget, made $250 and $3.8 million worldwide. So it was a box office hit. So that's why, of course, in Hollywood you get a sequel. But I love the movie because I love the story. I like how it's about training somebody to be the new hero, be the new Zorro. I like what Zorro stands for: fighting for people, fighting for justice, doing the right thing. That's what Zorro, I think, stands for, in my opinion. And it's a good story. A good revenge story about two men that were wrong. One was his wife was murdered, his daughter was taken from him, and one was his brother was killed. So, two against two are better odds, and you face two villains. Who was Captain Harris, who is a psychopath who loves to kill people. When he shoots, there's a scene where he kills it was L.G. Jones' character, I think. Whatever that guy's name is, that L.J. Jones, yeah, where he shoots his character and he's laughing about it. You see how Captain Harris is just a psychopathic man. And same thing with Stuart Wilson. He's a calm, more psychopath, but he doesn't mind killing or killing people or to get fame or fortune out of it, or money or gold. Even, murdering people, he doesn't care. But the plot's really good, the story's really good, the cast is really good. Antonio Banderas does a great job as the new Zorro. He has that wit and charms about him. He's got a good sense of humor. He's very good with the sword. I believe Antonio Banderas, he did practice a lot of sword fighting. The whole cast did. They're all good. Anthony Hopkins, he does a great job as the old Zorro, as Diego. Very believable in the role. He's a great actor. I think, in my opinion, Anthony Hopkins is one of the best actors ever in Hollywood. He's just a great actor, in my opinion. Definitely did a great job. Mark Hamill did a great job directing the movie, I think, too, and the story and the writing is good. The rest of the cast, though, Catherine Zeta-Jones, she's great. She's a gorgeous woman. I'm not gonna lie, she's a beautiful woman. Can't deny that. And she does a great job in this movie. She can't handle herself too in here. You know, she's not just a damsel in distress. And Stuart Wilson does a great job as a villain. He's better here than he is in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. You know, a lot better. And Matt Leacher, who plays Captain Harris, he does good. So good cast. Cinematography is nice. I love the way this movie looks. It's like takes place in the year 1821, the 1800s, and it was good for that time. You know, for that time, the 1800s, it works really well. The film was well shot. The sets look very beautiful for 1998. So the editing is good. You can see the action thing. There's no shaky cam. There's no shaky cam with the camera shaking. You can see it perfectly. Very well edited, in my opinion. And yeah, I will admit the movie's a bit too long. You could cut some stuff out of the movie to show it down a bit. I get it. We're trying to tell a story. You know, it kind of felt like Superman moved me a little bit. Well, different from that, but again, the reason I don't mind this film being long, like Superman the movie's long, but the thing is, I'm invested in the story. I'm invested in the characters because the actors do such a great job. It's a really good script, a good writing, good direction by Martin Campbell. Even if it's long, Martin Campbell, even if he makes a long movie, he does it perfectly, in my opinion. He's the perfect man for the job. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to direct a good movie. And this movie is good, and I'm invested in the story of Internal Benders and Andy Hopkins and the characters. And I want to see them get their revenge. You do feel sorry for them for, and Internal Benders for Alejandro getting, his brother murdered. You want to see him get his revenge, and he does. And, him becoming the new Zorro, Anthony Hopkins, Diego, you want to see him get Elena back and, get revenge on Stuart Wilson. He does. So the movie, after seeing them, and save the people, of course, the innocent people, the slave that are being slaves in this mine, you want to see them rescue them, and they do. So it's got a good story, in a way, the heart's in the right place. It's not really trying to tell the story, but about Zorro, just a man fighting, doing the right thing, fighting for the people. I don't like that, He's a Spanish hero, but he is Spanish hero for the people. I mean, you could have cut some stuff out, like the whole scene with him being part of the meeting. I get it, it's part of the plot. But we could have had him as Zorro earlier. It does take Zorro a while to enter the picture. For Antonio Banderas, it does take a while for him to become Zorro, but I get it. They're trying to tell the story. They're building it up, and they do a great job at it. And when the action scenes are there, the action is good, the humor is good, the chemistry between Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones is great. They definitely make a perfect couple, in my opinion. They're a good couple. I buy the chemistry. I buy them being in love. It's very believable. So I think it's a great movie. I think it's a fun movie. I do think you could cut some stuff out of it. I didn't need to be 2 hours 17 minutes long. Maybe trim down a little bit of stuff. I get it, he has to go undercover and be a charming gentleman and try to figure out what they're up to, but maybe you could cut a little bit of that out. I get it, it's part of the story, it was a part of the movie, but I'm just saying some of it you could have cut out. But despite that, I love the Mask of Zorro. I think it's one of the best I wouldn't even call it superhero. Yeah, it's a superhero movie because Zorro is, in my eyes, he's a hero. He doesn't have any powers, but he has his charms, his wits, and his sword that he can fight with. And even mess with his enemies, that's how he beats them. But The Mask of Zorro is a fun, awesome superhero swashbuckler superhero movie. Fun movie, one of the best movies of the 90s. I think one of the best movies ever made, in my opinion. And one of my favorites. I love this movie. Definitely, The Mask of Zorro is a classic, in my opinion. If you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend it. Yeah. So my rating for The Mask of Zorro, starring Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, and Catherine Zeta-Jones, I'm going to give it a thumbs up, and my rating for this film is 5 out of 5 stars. So guys, if you've seen The Mask of Zorro, please tell me in the comments down below what you think of this movie. And have you seen the sequel? What do you think of that? The sequel is, it's alright. I will get to Legend of Zorro someday. But for now, we'll just focus on this one, the classic one, The Mask of Zorro. Great movie, in my opinion. Definitely will get it on Blu-ray one day. But that's The Mask of Zorro. Yeah. It might be a bit of a long movie, 2 hours 17 minutes, but the good news is that it has a good story that you can follow, and it's just a good movie. But hey, if you're not into it, if you didn't care for Mask of Zorro, if it wasn't for you, that's fine. To each his own. But I love this movie. I love the character of Zorro. Antonio Banderas was great. It's a great movie. Again, my rating for The Mask of Zorro is 5 out of 5 stars and a thumbs up. So guys, tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of The Mask of Zorro, in your opinion? Yes. Not the sequel, but this one right here. What do you think of this movie, in your opinion? Alright guys, so stay tuned for my next 90 superhero reviews. We got one more 1998 movie to go, and then 2 films of 1999. If I can get to them. If not, hey, I got next weekend too. So, unfortunately. Damn it. Freaking hesitate on this, but this film is it's another Marvel character, and it stars Wesley Snipes in the role. And this movie is awesome. And Stephen Dorff is in it too, and it stars Wesley Snipes, and that is the 1998 horror superhero film. It's kind of a horror movie too, but superhero movie, and that is Blade. Yeah. So Blade is next. So stay tuned next for my review of Blade, starring Wesley Snipes. This is the first one in the franchise, Has 2 other movies, Blade 2 and Blade Trinity, but we're reviewing Blade, the film that kind of revived superhero movies and Marvel. The film that really, gave Marvel the good kick that I needed. Probably the first successful Marvel movie. The first one. Successful one that made good money at the box office. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of the Mask of Zorro in your opinion? Let me know in the comments down below. Starring Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, and Kevin Lee Jones. Tell me in the comments what you think of this movie. And I hope you look forward to my rating for the film is 5 out of 5 stars. And a thumbs up. And stay tuned for my review for Blade. Hopefully I can do that today. But this is next. Blade. Starring Wesley Snipes. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.